When my grandfather was a little boy, he lived with his parents on a farm outside of Bridgeport, Ohio. They had come over here from England, and so that made my grandfather first-generation American.
Charles Enlow entered Ohio State University at the age of 16, specializing in chemistry. Upon graduation in 1899, he accepted a position with the Carnegie Steel Company, located in Mingo Junction, Ohio.
He was put in charge of deaf mutes. He was the foreman of them, and I do not know in what area in the steel mills, except they did hire these deaf mutes. And he, to converse with them, had to learn how to sign. And he always signed all the rest of his life. You could watch him tell a story, but his hands would constantly be forming letters. And I think he really came to appreciate the work that all people had to do, and he really loved those people. My grandfather left the steel mills because they had a protracted strike, and he went to New Lexington, Ohio, to become a banker. At that time, Francis Joseph Wrights, who was at what I knew to be National City Bank, I think it was City National at that time, was looking to retire to do more civic things. So he searched for a banker, and he found my grandfather, who had saved one of the banks in Ohio.
C.B. Enlow was hired as cashier of City National Bank, a very prominent position at that time. He was elected vice president in 1915, president in 1924, and chairman of the board in 1951. He led National City Bank, now Integra Bank, to a position of city and statewide respect.
The cashier was a universal position within the bank. They did a little lending, they were involved in cash, they did some accounting, and it was a very prominent position in the bank at the time. When he was president, C.B. Enlow did a lot of different great things for our community. He spent a lot of time on education. He spent 10 years on the school board. He clearly believed in young people, in trying to give them the opportunity to succeed.
He was elected to the school board, I believe, in 1922, and he developed a 5-year plan with the other people that were on it. And they were able to get 5 schools built: Washington Grade School, Bosse High School, Wrights High School, Lincoln, and then Wrights himself built Lincoln Memorial. But those were the 5 schools that were built in his tenure.
He was one of the strong promoters in building Lincoln High School, which at the time was not a very popular decision. There was a lot of discrimination going on, and he was one of the ones that really stepped up and said, we need this school in the black community. And reportedly, he received threatening letters, and at the time, it was not a very popular decision by a lot of people. C.B. Enlow was a strong promoter of athletics, and we're told that his real love was football. So building what is now Enlow Field, which was named for him, and all the great events that have happened there, is just a strong testament. The same goes to, we've heard many stories about businesses around town that he helped start, including working with Joseph O'Daniel in starting the automotive business. And today, the O'Daniel family and the related auto businesses are doing quite well and are pillars in our community.
He just had this sense and this vision of who would help Evansville grow and enlarge the city. He did not want to be the mayor or the boss of anything. He would have rather, he wanted to be the man pulling the strings behind everybody to catch his vision. And it wasn't for power, the sake of power. I believed he used what kind of power that he accumulated to better Evansville.
If C.B. Enlow were alive today, I believe he would say that there are many kids out there, if given the right opportunity, can do the same things and have the same impact in our community that he did.
If the junior achievement had been around in the latter part of his life, he would have embraced it very much. And I think he would have loved to have mentored some children in business or found what their talents were and encouraged them to go where they might receive help for the future, what they might like to do. He truly would have enjoyed junior achievement, found it worthwhile. If I could talk to my grandfather again, I would thank him for being an encourager. I would thank him for the twinkle in his eyes whenever he saw me. I would thank him for his positive attitude, that you can do something if you really work hard. It's difficult to find a man who is true to himself, and he was.